Okay, so today we're going to work on the collage. I'm going to find a picture, a large image with a plain background, and I'm actually going to use this one from Breaking Bad. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this image into a black and white image. So I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Black and White. And all of a sudden my image is going to turn black and white. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to see what my image is going to look like. So I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, and then Posterize. I want my level to be at 2. For me, this doesn't look too bad, but some of you may have an image that doesn't look great, so I can hit Cancel then. Go to Image Adjustments, Brightness and Contrast. Pull up your brightness. If the person is really light, so they're very light skinned, very pale, you can pull down your brightness and that might help them. But I also like to pull up my contrast and hit OK. Go to Image Adjustments again, and then go to Posterize. See if your image looks a little bit better. I actually made mine a little worse, so I'm going to hit Cancel and do it again. Please, please, please don't be afraid to do this a couple times. It does take a little bit. I'm going to go back to Image Adjustments and then go to Posterize again, and then I'm going to hit my 2. I'm okay with this image. And I'm going to hit alright. Okay. The next thing I want to do is take this little lock. Oh, I just clicked the lock and it disappeared. Or you can take the lock and throw it in the trash can. Locks give you problems, but they also could be a great thing if you're dealing with a lot of layers and you don't want things to move around. We're not worried about that right now, so we wanted to get rid of it. The next tool I'm going to get is 4 tools down. I'm going to click and hold. With your quick selection tool, there's a magic wand. I'm going to click on the magic wand. I do not want this box checked. Contagious will make, if it's not checked, it'll make everything that is the same color be selected. So I want to click on my white spaces. If you wanted to put your images in the black spaces, you would click on the black. I'm going to click on my white, and you're going to see lots of dancing ants. I'm going to hit the delete key. And my background's going to turn into checkers. That's a good thing. That means it's invisible. There's nothing there. I'm going to hit Command D to squash my ants. And then I'm going to click back on my Move tool. I'm actually going to adjust my image just a little bit and use my arrow tool just so it fits in the frame nicely. Layer 0 is always going to be at the top. We want to make sure it's at the top every single time. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start dragging my images. So I'm going to fill my background with all kinds of images from Breaking Bad. The first thing I'm going to do is take my picture and I'm going to drag it. It's actually a small image, but it might be okay because I'm collaging the background with lots of other images. So there's 2 ways I can bring this over. I can, 1, split my screen and drag it over. And then I'll show you how to do it the next way. And most of you are going to go, oh my goodness, my image is not, I'm going to name this, underneath the main image. I actually take layer 0 and drag it to the top. And you'll notice it's going to start to overlap. I can get rid of that image and go to your next one. Unfortunately, I kind of picked some dark images here, so it might not look the greatest, but we'll see. There's another way that you can actually take your image and drag it to your canvas, and that's by clicking on your image, hold it, drag it to your tab, and then move your mouse and drop. That actually worked out pretty nicely. Take layer 0 and drag it to the top. Oops, I don't want to move wall here. Actually, I want to move this one. So you're going to do this the whole time. And you're going to keep adding images. You want to add lots of images. You can make them as big or as small as you would like. Remember, Command T is to make them smaller or larger. Actually put this. I always tell kids to make sure that you add something that's sort of a plain color towards the back. The other thing that I'm noticing right now is that my main image is getting lost. So I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to start lowering my opacity. And when you lower your opacity, it's actually going to just make it just blend in with the background a little bit more and fade it out. And that's okay. That's kind of something that you want to happen because you want this main image to stand out the most. Actually, I'm going to arrow that down. So I'm going to keep adding my images and then we'll be right back. Okay, so now that my image has all the background pictures in it, I want to go back to my layer 0. And there's a couple things that you can do. You can actually add a color over this, but one thing that I like to do is I like to keep it black. If you have your pictures in the white, you might want to change it, the color, but I like to go to the blending options. And once I get into blending options, I actually am going to go to drop shadow. And I can add a bit of a drop shadow to it. You can change the color of the drop shadow. You can change it so there's like an outer glow. I'm not going to put a pattern overlay. You can add an inner glow if you really want to. An inner shadow, which it's not going to change it much. You can even go as far as add a stroke over. But I think the drop shadow just helps it just a little bit. You'll notice if I turn it off, and then if I turn it on, it just kind of adds just a little bit to it. Remember, you want to make sure that you lower your opacity on your objects. And if you're not happy, sometimes you can get some overlapping. I have some overlapping between Jesse and Saul here. What I can do is I can actually put, that's not Jesse, this is Jesse, and this is Saul. I made a common mistake. I did not need my layers, so it's taking me a little bit to figure out what's what. If I hold down Command and click on layer 6, and then go to Jesse's layer, what I can do is I can hit delete, and it actually deletes that overlapping space there. You don't have to do that. I have another little overlap here. Whatever layer this is, I can actually hit my, hold down Control and click, and I can click on layer 11. I'm going to hold down Option and click, and then I'm actually going to click on, I do believe it's blue. I'm just going to hit delete again, and that gets rid of that overlapping section. Command D squashes your ants. I don't really like these lines, but you can go ahead and fix them later if you'd really like. I'm just being picky. Other than that, you guys are done the collage. It's very easy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Remember, you're going to go to File, Save As. You're going to name it your name. You're going to make sure you're in your folder. I have a Project 2 folder going on, and I'm going to name it Collage. Remember, it should say Photoshop. Hit Save. Excuse me. And then you're going to do it again. File, Save As. And this time it's going to still say Bridget Ruggiano, Collage. And this time instead of Photoshop, you're going to save it as a JPEG. And hit Save. Click OK when you're finished. That's about it. You guys can have a great day. If you have any questions, let me know.